This week's saint is Harriet Tubman. Harriet Tubman is a remarkable woman. She, despite all odds, made huge strides in not only the abolition of slavery, but in the women's suffrage movement, and also in people suffering from paralysis, vision impairment, and epilepsy. She truly had a full and complicated life, and is one worthy of our remembrance and dedication, so that we may look to her life and model her discipleship into our lives. She's not canonized saint, but I think that is a huge disservice, because she certainly lived a life as one. And I hope that we can, as Lutherans, see her as a saint and remember her for all the wonderful things she did, not only for our country, but also for the Christian faith. Harriet Tubman was born into slavery in the state of Maryland in 1822. She then died a free person in 1913 at the age of 91. She lived a long life, but one full of hardship and also joy, a very complex life. In Maryland, where she was a slave, she eventually escaped to Philadelphia, where then she was freed as the North no longer allowed slavery. She then dedicated her life to the abolition of slavery. She felt that once free, that she should free others, and she did just that. She is considered the American Moses because of how many people that she saved from slavery as one individual. You can see some parallels between what happened in ancient Egypt with the Israelites and what happened here with Harriet Tubman in the Deep South. She went down to a superpower and told them, "Let my people go." And she did just that for the amount of people that she was able to. She saved around 70 people. I'm sure there's probably more, but we know of at least 70 that she saved. One can think that God truly was on her side, because she did not get caught once while taking enslaved individuals from the South up to the free North and even Canada. What an impressive individual. She truly believed that God was on her side, and she dedicated everything that she did to God and God's mercy and God's love and justice. She was a deeply religious and spiritual person, and was so humble in nature, and didn't think that anything that she did was of her own volition, but through the empowerment of her God. And to that, I truly believe she should be remembered as a Christian saint. She not only was a conductor for the Underground Railroad, but she also worked a side hustle called a Union spy. So not only did she save individuals from the South and free them, but she was also working for the government and put herself in very, very dangerous situations time and time again, but ended up being successful nonetheless. Truly someone who had God on her side. She spent most of her days bringing back Black Americans out of poverty, because once Black Americans were freed, it's not like they were given things, a foundation to be successful. They were just let go, and they had to figure out life on their own. And this was a horrible time for recently freed slaves, because at least before they were fed, but now they have nothing. Not to say that it's not better to be free. It absolutely is better to be free, but this transition time was not made easy for them at all. And Harriet Tubman spent all of her money, all of her resources, with the house that she says she was blessed with, for helping all of these newly freed slaves to the best of her ability. She truly was a selfless individual. She also, in her later years, started a home for the aged, where they just worked with people with paralysis, epilepsy, and vision impairment. She suffered with these disabilities her whole life due to a slave owner throwing a metal piece at a slave that was escaping, missing him, and knocking her in the head, causing paralysis, epilepsy, and vision impairment her entire life. She was also a staunch supporter of the suffrage movement. She was known to be an annoyance to President Lincoln at the time for getting women to vote. Unfortunately, she did not live to see her activism be successful, as women didn't get the right to vote until 1920, and unfortunately, Tubman died in 1913. But her work truly was the catalyst to women getting the right to vote, and unfortunately, she was never able to cast her first ballot. She is considered a saint because of her absolute dedication to Christ, and that is undeniable. Being called the American Moses, I think, is a true honor and an accurate one. She did dedicate her entire life to God and God's people, and working for justice and peace in the world, for all people. It is no doubt that she should be remembered and canonized as a saint, not only as a Christian saint, but American hero. And she does not get enough credit for the work that she has done for Black Americans in this country and the country as a whole. She truly has shaped history as one individual and should be remembered as one of the greats. I hope that Harriet Tubman's life is an inspiration to you, that you know that no matter what life circumstance you have, that you can always follow Christ in the best way that Christ is calling you to do so. Harriet had nothing and worked with God so that she could free slaves when all of the circumstances and the odds were against her. She was successful because she had God on her side. That's not to say that she didn't have hardship. That's not to say that she was rewarded properly for all of her service to this country. It's not to say that she lived a comfortable life. She didn't. But she lived a full life, a life filled with purpose and a life filled with love. And I hope that we all can look at her life and be inspired to search deep within our souls on what God is calling us to be and to act upon it when we know our calling. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please take the time to look at the links that I'll provide in the description, as her life was even crazier than I put in this video, and it is worth your time, I promise you. God bless, and have a great week. Bye.